Hi everybody, so in today's video I'm going to be going through the notes for lesson 1.4, and in this lesson we're not going to be talking about patterns, we're really going to be focused on graphing. Now we've done a little bit of graphing, but we've always been graphing with patterns as our context. Today we're going to be graphing on what's called the coordinate plane, which basically means a graph that has 4 sections. First, I'm going to teach you some vocabulary about the coordinate plane, and a lot of this is vocabulary you might have heard before. I just want to refresh your memory about some of the terms you need to know. The first term is x-axis. The x-axis is the horizontal axis on the coordinate plane. It always goes left and right. It's got positive numbers on the right, and it's got negative numbers on the left. The next word you need to know is y-axis. The y-axis is the vertical axis on a coordinate plane. It's got positive numbers at the top, and it's got negative numbers at the bottom. Now, in the middle where those meet, this specific point on the graph is what's called the origin. It has coordinates 0, 0. There are also names for the 4 sections that are created by those axes. This section right here is called quadrant 1. This one is called quadrant 2. This one is called quadrant 3. And this one is called quadrant 4. And a lot of students get confused and get the order of the quadrants wrong, but the way that I always remember it is it just goes in a circle when you're numbering them. Okay. Now, all of that is because we're going to be graphing points on here. So let's talk about how to graph a point. A point is going to have a parentheses, and it's going to have 2 numbers. The first number is what's called the x coordinate, and it tells us to either go right or left by that many spaces. We go right if it's a positive number and left if it's negative. The second number in an ordered pair is what's called a y coordinate. And it tells us to either go up or down, depending on if that number is positive or negative. We're going to go up if the number is positive, and we're going to go down that many spaces if the number is negative. For example, we're going to practice graphing 1 point on this graph paper and then a lot of points on the next one. If I asked you to graph the point, what color should I make it? Purple? If I asked you to graph the point -3, 5, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the first number. Now, it's either going to go right or left. And since it's a negative number, we're going to go left that many spaces. My second number is going to be either up or down. Since it's a positive number, I'm going to go up that many spaces. So on this graph paper, it would look like this. First, I would go left 3 spaces. One, 2, 3. Then I would go up 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. And this is where I would put my point. Okay, we're going to practice graphing a bunch. So let's practice graphing these points. Now, in each of these points, the first number tells me to go right or left, and the second number tells me to go up or down. Since the first number is 2, For this point, I'm going to go to the right 2 spaces, 1, 2, and then I'm going to go up 6 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this point right here is going to be labeled A because I need to know the difference between that point and all the other ones. So we need to make sure to label. It'll say that in the instructions, but you just need to remember to label. For point B, the first number tells me to go right or left, and the second number tells me to go up or down. Since the first number is negative, I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to go down because the second number is negative 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. And this point right here is going to be labeled point B. Next, the first number tells me to go right or left. The second number tells me to go up or down. So I'm going to go left 1 space, and then I'm going to go up 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to label that one point C. And finally, point D, I'm going to go right or left 8 spaces and up or down 0 spaces. So I'm going to go right 8 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 0 means don't go up or down at all, just stay there. So that's point D. Next, find the coordinates of the following points. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the points and we're going to try to figure out the numbers. In order to do that, I'm going to start by putting a big parentheses with a comma on each of these lines so that I can make sure that I have space for both of the numbers I need to find. Now, remember, in a point, the first number is, did I go to the right or did I go to the left and how far? And the second number is, did I go up or down and how far? So for point A, if I'm going to get to point A from the origin, I'm going to have to go left 2 spaces and then go down 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So left 2 means negative 2, down 4 means minus 4. In order to graph point B, I would have to go left 1, 2, 3 spaces, so negative, because I went left 3, and then up 2 spaces, so positive 2. In order to get to point C, I would have to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces, and then I would have to go down 1, 2, 3 spaces, so negative 3. Finally, for point D, I'm not going to go right or left at all. So I'm going to put a 0 there. And then I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Next, let's look at a graph that's a little bit different. The difference between the graphs we already did and this graph is that this graph does not count by ones. You'll notice the graph is actually counting by tens on the x-axis, and the graph is counting by 15s on the y-axis. That means that there are hidden numbers in between each of the lines. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 are all crammed in here. Which means when we graph, we don't count one box at a time. So we have to skip count. Let's try graphing the first one. Remember, whenever we're graphing, the first number tells me to go left or right, and the second number tells me to go up or down. So the first one's telling me to go right 5 and up 20. To go right 5, I don't need to jump all the way to 10. I only need to jump halfway. To go up 20, I need to go up 15 and then a little bit more, 5 more, which is between the 15 and the 30. That point right there, I'm going to label A, and you'll notice it's kind of in between the boxes. I'm not going to be very picky about how far in between. I just want to see that you understand that that's going to be in between the numbers that are labeled. For point B, I'm going to go right 25, and then I'm going to go up and down 0. I'm just going to stay. Which means if I go right 25, I'm going to go 10, 20, and then halfway, and then stay there. So point B would be right here. Point C, I'm going to go right 0. So I'm just going to stay. And then I'm going to go up 40, which means I'm going to stay right on that y-axis and just go up to the 40. So a little bit past the 30 to right here. Last but not least, for point D, I'm going to go left because it's negative 30. And I'm going to go up 45, which means left 30 would be 10, 20, 30 to here. 45 would be up 15, 30, 35, 45, which is right here. It actually lands nicely on what are called the lattice points, the corners of the grid. Last but not least, we're going to talk about adding points to our table and graphing them. One of the ways we organize our points, and we saw this with patterns, was to put them in a table. So when you put points in a table, the left number goes in the X column and the right number goes in the Y column. So the order goes like this. It's always X first and then Y. That means that this 1 would go next to its partner, the 2. The negative 4 would go next to its partner, which is the negative 4. And so on. That means that in the next point, the 3 is the X, and the negative 2 is the Y. Then the next one, the 0 is the X, and the negative 3 is the Y. And in this one, the negative 1 is the X, and the 0 is the Y. So if I now graph those points, you'll notice that there are no labels, and that's okay. I'm going to go to the 1, 2. And remember, this first number tells me to go left or right. The second number tells me to go up or down. So I'm going to go right 1, up 2. Then I'm going to go left 4, down 4. Then I'm going to go right 3, down 2. 0 means stay. Don't go left or right, and just go down 3. And negative 1 means go left 1, but then the 0 means stay. So stay, don't go up or down. And my graph looks like this, a random scattering of points. Now the last thing I want to talk about is 2 vocabulary words that are going to come up a lot. The first one that you need to know is x-intercept. An x-intercept is any point that is on the x-axis. And the second word you need to know is y-intercept. The y-intercept is any point where when you graph it, it ends up on the y-axis. So let's go back and find some x-intercepts. In this first picture, D is an x-intercept. There are no x-intercepts in the second picture. In the third picture, B is an x-intercept. It's right on top of the x-axis. And in the fourth picture, this guy right here is an x-intercept. It's right on top of the x-axis. A y-intercept in the first picture there is none. In the second picture, D is a y-intercept. In the third picture, C is a y-intercept. And in the last picture, this point right here is a y-intercept. They're going to be on the x and y axis. That is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please start your homework.